I believe it's important we go for everything we want in life because we only have one life to live. So we have to give it everything we got and try to make our dreams, our hopes, our aspirations become reality.
Hello everyone, it's my pleasure to bring you another exciting episode of the Masterpiece Inspirations podcast, a production of Masterpiece Digital Solution. I am your host Clems. The Masterpiece Inspirations newsletter will help you to navigate the challenges of life, by empowering you to bounce back from setbacks without giving up, because you have the unlimited potential to turn your setback into opportunities for a major comeback. This newsletter will help you to discover the best version of yourself and recognize your uniqueness so that you can lead a purpose-driven life of impact, fulfillment, and happiness. This episode is titled The Making of Global Icons and Leader. I want to welcome you to another exciting edition of the Masterpiece Inspirations newsletter. This month of May started with some interesting events, and that includes the coronation ceremony of King Charles III, which took place on Saturday, 6th of May 2023. I would like to use this opportunity to say congratulations to King Charles III, members of the royal family and the good people of United Kingdom as they transition into a new era of the British monarchy. This brings me to my next point. The renowned English playwright, poet, and author William Shakespeare made a remarkable observation: be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and others have greatness thrust upon them. If you are not a member of the royal family, the heir of a very wealthy family, or someone with a privileged upbringing, you might be reading this and thinking that greatness is just a fantasy because you don't belong to the category of people who were either born great or have greatness thrust upon you. However, if you live in a developed country with a high standard of living and productivity index, you might be considered as someone who was born with a silver spoon in your mouth. In contrast, those that were born in the developing countries are struggling for daily survival, with less hope of staying alive and no hope of achieving any greatness in life. Furthermore, as the world celebrates the International Day of Families this month, it's worth pointing out that most families in the developing countries are still witnessing high level of poverty and infant mortality due to poor health care, low standard of living, bad governance, and the exploitation of public wealth and resources for private use. This brings me to my main point: every child is born with the seed of greatness and has the potential to achieve greatness in life. However, human capacity development is necessary to cultivate and harness the unlimited potentials of young emerging leaders and turn them into global icons. And this starts with the creation of the enabling environment and support system. This episode is titled, The Making of Global Icons and Leaders, and this is based on the premise that every child, whether they were born in the palace or in the ghetto, can achieve greatness and fulfill a unique purpose when empowered with the right opportunities and enabling environment. This brings to mind the story of Michelangelo, who came from a very humble background to become a global icon that is still remembered today, even after his death, due to his famous masterpiece paintings and sculptures, such as the sculptures of King David, Pieta, and the paintings of the Sistine Chapel. He leveraged his talents to become a creative genius. An African proverb says, "It takes a village to raise a child." Likewise, every child is a global icon, but it takes the combined efforts of the parents, guardians, government, the religious institution, and the education system to provide the enabling environment and support system that can develop the iconic potential of that child, so that such children will grow up with the empowering mindset that will set them up to thrive globally and achieve greatness in their various field of endeavors. Unfortunately, most developing countries lack that enabling environment and the sustainable development system, including the political stability, empowering educational system, and infrastructures to turn the homegrown talents into global icons. On the other hand, most children in the developed countries have the advantage of a great enabling environment and the opportunities that can be leveraged to achieve greatness and make global impact. Nevertheless, the days of these unique advantages by the developed countries are numbered, because the foundation that have enabled such countries to achieve greatness and produce global icons is gradually being eroded by the miseducation of the masses, and the rise in gender ideology, and the associated policies that are destroying the fundamental family values and ethics. The United Nations declared May 15, 2023, as the International Day of Families to highlight the importance of families as the basic units of society. This notwithstanding, there is a growing trend in the number of dysfunctional educational institutions and policies that have prioritized the promotion of controversial gender ideology and sexual lifestyles to innocent children without the consent of their parents and guardians. Hence, leaving them vulnerable without any support system, and exposed to the manipulation of the policy makers and their lobbyists. This is prevalent in developed countries, especially in America and Europe, resulting in identity crises that have left many children, teenagers, as well as adults confused, disempowered, and out of touch with the reality of life. However, this identity crisis presents a rare opportunity for Africa and other developing nations to catch up and even overtake the developed nations in value creation and the establishment of global iconic companies, entrepreneurs, and leaders. This can be achieved by providing an enabling environment and support system to the youths to empower them to emerge as global icons and leaders. This brings me to my next point: how can developing countries, especially in Africa, create the enabling environment to empower the emerging leaders so that they can thrive as global icons and leaders? With the benefit of advanced technology, the world has become a global village, making it easier to leverage the power of digital technology and communication to create the enabling environment in the form of digital hubs or tribes, that can break down geographical or cultural barriers and systems that have made it difficult for such countries to achieve greatness and thrive globally. In addition to this, emerging leaders from developing countries would need to overcome personal constraints including negative environmental programming, self-doubt, self-limiting beliefs and all forms of self-sabotage to enable them to thrive globally. This means that nations that focus on the promotion of controversial policies such as all forms of gender ideology and identity to their youthful population, will soon lose relevance on the global level. No wonder the former Prime Minister of Britain Winston Churchill once said, "The empires of the future are the empires of the mind." Hence, any negative programming of young minds with disempowering knowledge would result in a national breakdown of the collective sense of identity, self-image, and self-concept, leading to self-sabotage, identity crisis and mental health challenges. Therefore, the developing countries should wake up from their slumber and seize this rare opportunity to promulgate policies that strengthen societal family values and ethics. Instead of blindly adopting foreign policies and incentives, especially those targeted at the destruction of the minds of young emerging leaders through the instruments of dysfunctional education system and policies. This brings me to my final point: the world has transitioned from the era of physical labor and manpower to knowledge-based global economies. The global superpowers of today are no longer the empires and monarchs with the highest number of plantations and slaves that work in their plantations and construction sites. The emerging superpowers of today are those nations, cooperations, and entrepreneurs that focus on the training and mentorship of emerging young leaders by leveraging empowering knowledge including emotional, spiritual, and artificial intelligence to create and dominate the future globally. This is because the future belongs to those that created it today by empowering the minds of the future generations so that they can achieve greatness in their chosen fields and thrive globally. In the words of Alvin Toffler, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Therefore, another form of creating a great enabling environment for emerging leaders and global icons is through the process of continuous personal development, and that means creating the habit of learning, unlearning and relearning. The motivational speaker and best-selling author Jim Rohn made a remarkable observation: formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. In the inspirational book, Daily Positive Affirmations, the self-talk therapy for overcoming challenges and fear, I discussed extensively on self-education, human capacity development, and the self-empowerment principles that will enable my audience to overcome identity crisis, self-limiting beliefs, and all forms of self-sabotage by unlocking their unlimited potentials. And provided them with empowering affirmations to transform their lives, so that they can develop the capacity and requisite mindset to thrive globally. If you have not already done so, download a free copy of the best-selling masterpiece inspirational book today, https://linktree.ee/daily affirmations. In conclusion, Michelangelo was once asked how he was able to create such beautiful works. He answered, "When I look at a block of marble, I see the sculpture inside it. I just have to chisel away the excess marble. Every block of stone has a statue inside it, and it is the task of the sculptor to discover it. I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." Michelangelo. Those words from Michelangelo are a reminder that all of us were born with the seed of greatness within us, but without the empowering knowledge and the enabling environment, that giant masterpiece cannot be unleashed or carved out from the unlimited potentials within us. Likewise, children born in abject poverty at the ghettos and villages of any country can also emerge as the global icons and leaders in any field, with the benefit of an empowering education and support system, as well as the enabling environment that can transform their lives and create the opportunities for them to emerge from the ghettos to the executive boardrooms. I hope this episode has been of great value to you, as you read and reflect on the contents of this newsletter. Please feel free to share, like and drop your comments, so that we can continue this conversation. Have you subscribed? When you subscribe today, this inspiring newsletter will be delivered to your inbox weekly to empower you to face the week with positive expectations, and equip you with the golden nuggets to overcome self-limiting beliefs, self-sabotage and mental health challenges. Until next time, I wish you and your family a purpose-driven life of happiness and fulfillment.